All right. What's up, guys? I am working with this, what is this thing called? It's an antler beam leg punch. So it's the entire beam of the antler with all the tines sawed off. This is the base. And here, I'll just show you. So I've got a hole in it. This is just paracord with a slip knot in it, which I got pulled out of whack a while ago. Even those up so I can get both of them around there. But anyway, this just a slip knot, and I wrap it around my leg. I got this piece of leather here, just one piece of leather. Actually, maybe I should use another. You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this leather glove in my little cargo pocket here and see if it might help with it, to use that for support right along the edge there. A little cushion for the pushing. Never hurts. What I always say, huh, Noodle? All right. You guys know who Noodle is, right? I know you do. She looks angry. You look angry. All right, so what I could do is go around it like this. It might be a little tight there. Let me loosen up my knot here. I could go through it and up and over, but I was just gonna hook it around the side, actually, on the inside here. That's a little better. Now I can position that leather glove in here, right up in there. Get this thing comfortable on my leg. As you can see, I haven't used this thing hardly at all. Like, I took a few flakes with it, and that's it. So this is, excuse me, a moose antler billet, and what's sticking out here is lead. I drilled 2 holes in there, probably 1/2-inch holes, and I took lead balls, musket balls, or muzzleloader, round balls for muzzleloader, and they fit real tight in there, and I took a punch and just a steel punch and punched them in, and they packed in there. Packed that with lead because I didn't have a larger moose billet, and I needed more mass, and I wanted this thing to weigh a little more. So, you know, I know the ancients probably didn't do that, but I did. So anyhow, it's got some weight to it, is what I'm getting at. So I'm going to use this thing to strike that with. And I probably should have picked something out to gnat first. Got a couple pieces here I was going to biface. I sure hate to mess that one up. Oh well, I've got a whole tub full of them out there. I don't know what I'm worried about. Okay, so got my striker. Am I going to need an abrader? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am. Might even be doing a little hammerstone work here, eh? I do believe. It's just a little sandstone hammerstone. It's got some work on, it had work on both ends when I found it, but I've been using it more too, so I really like to use the hammerstones that they chose. It, lets me know what they were using and what works good. And this one here, the consistency really works good, but it's more like a finishing hammerstone. I don't want to beat it up too much. This is a kind of interesting one. It almost looks like it was on its way to a discoidal or something. They flattened it off on both sides. Looks like it was being used as an abrader as much as a hammerstone. But all this wear is from using it as a hammerstone along those edges. And it's an interesting material. It's sandstone, but it's pretty hard. But it is grabby, which is probably why they were using it. So I'll try to use this hammerstone to reduce this thing down a little bit before we get going on the punch. I just have a feeling I'm gonna get cut. So let me put a glove on. These gloves, I found they don't affect my support as much as the thicker leather ones. This is actually a pretty thin material here, and it's really grabby and somewhat durable. I'm gonna have to tape that one pretty quick. But I really like these things so far. Wearing a thicker glove can really affect my support. Let's see here. So we got a little bit of damage going in here. Should probably investigate that. The rest of it looks pretty good. I'm not going to worry about removing all this Cortex first because I'll end up with a much smaller piece. I can work my way in here and just remove a little bit of the edge of it, but I can get a platform to go. I already know from experience, and this lighter material is closer to the inside, so you can use that to your advantage for thinning. But this real chalky stuff's got to come off most of the time. I'm just going to work my way in to this area here a little bit closer. Set myself up with a platform where I can try to undercut this material here. I really need to hit this thing up a little bit higher. Okay, I think I can get one to run up in there and undercut this thing without going too deep. Oh no. That don't look good. Don't look good at all. I think this was the yin yang piece. Or was it? One of them looked just like a yin yang. Yeah, it was this one. You see the yin yang in there? The yin yang got an ugly thing in it. I lost some length there, but there's really no way around it. Gonna have to take that down anyway to get to the good material. Think how small that piece would be if I had already removed all this. I wouldn't have any of that to work with. It'd be done for probably. Down real small. It's still getting pretty small. Alright. I guess I could come back, but I kind of like to reserve this material because it looks pretty good over here. Just have to work into this thing and see how far it goes. It wasn't nearly steep enough. See how clean that is without step fractures? I cannot do that with copper. I've tried and tried. And the reason is this cleans the edge. It abrades it as you're hitting it. So the follow through on your stroke is abrading the edge and preparing it for the next strike. It's pretty awesome. See why they like this hammerstone. It's just grabby enough and just hard enough to really pack a punch and grab the edge. And it feels really cool to be using it and know that somebody probably 8,000 years ago, who knows, 4,000 to 8,000, was using it and made that thing. Love that sound. Cha-ching, cha-ching. All right. Okie doke. So I'm gonna have to come across here because I'm gonna have to get down a little bit below there. I want to be in on some pretty good material. I want that flake to come off there kind of nice. I might be able to use it. Make a little bird point out of that. It's got just enough thickness, just straight enough. Alright, so hopefully a couple more will clear that out of there. Just planing that down a little bit and flatten it before I come after this. Alrighty, I think that pretty much cleared it out of there. Okay, now what I'll do is come over here on this corner and start working this cortex off, and working on bringing this edge up and taking this mass off from this side, and try to conserve this material over here. Although I do want to get rid of that overhang, because it's not going to be, I'm going to have to get rid of it anyway, so give myself a little bit of convexity to start with. See the convexity there? Good. Take a short one there if I can without hinging it. There's a crystal pocket in there. It shut me down. I get you guys really zoomed out. Get rid of that. So this is nowhere near steep or low enough for me to come back over, so I'm going to take another flake here, raise this edge up, and come back at this mass. Just kind of trim into that, beef that edge up a little bit. Look, see if it's steep enough. Yeah, almost. Maybe that's why it's flat on it, on both sides. It sure feels good as an abrader like that. It's super comfortable. Maybe they used it like that. Probably more likely used it like that. Man, that's some nice stuff there. Super high grade. All right, I think I can get that to go now. There it went. That really helped me out, removing a lot of that mass there. Might even be a keeper flake. Pretty curved, huh? Come on, baby. Need to make contact, right? There. So at this point, I kind of do need to just go ahead and get rid of the rest of this cortex and get down to business on this thing. Hey, there we go. I'm kind of running into a roadblock. All this square thickness here is hard to work my way into. So I could probably open it up by hitting it here, but what I'll do is just, as a good example to show you guys, I'll move all the way around the edge and come work my way back on it from the other side, because I got more access over here. Get it to let go. Something must not be right there. You notice I'm still not removing all of it because I know this stuff under here is good. It'll run a flake. Conserve that width while you can. Getting ready to eat a bunch of it up. It's awfully nice rock to be playing around with a new tool. Come on. That was a bit much, eh? Not really. Not really at all. I didn't lose anything. Shabam. It was completely accidental and unintentional, but it worked out beautifully. Alrighty. I'll take it. So now I've got some thickness here, but this edge is kind of beveled that way already. Okay, I'm going to start back here, work my way into this thicker area with smaller flakes. Come on. Get a way I can turn that edge just a little bit more if I need to. Spacing my flakes out, leaving myself a backup plan here. Kind of messing that edge up a little bit there. What happens when that happens and you get those little micro fractures going in the edge, it makes the platform more stout and it's harder to get a flake to release, and sometimes bad stuff can happen. So I just nipped a little piece of there. Got it. I had to hit higher to undercut that problem. What a nice piece of hornstone. Alrighty. Let's switch over to the punch.